Hello, internet friends, also known as strangers I've never met before. Actually, that's a lie. Some of you I have met before. Here I am again with another recipe, and this one, I promise you, absolutely nothing healthy about it, but it is absolutely delicious and totally worth making, and is very impressive. The flavor of pistachio and rose together, oh my gosh, phenomenal. If you don't like either of those flavors, this may not be for you and you may want to just move along. But trust me, it's good. And with the addition of the lemon juice and lemon zest in there, it just adds a little bit of tanginess to the sweetness. So good. Now this recipe is inspired by a bunch of others that I saw online, but it's not quite the same as the others because I found all of those way too sweet, and I'm not a big on sugar person, so I really cut back on the sugar and the butter in this recipe from every other one that I've seen online. And so this is air quotes healthier in that way, in that it has less sugar and less butter. And it's got almonds in there, pistachios in there, so it's full of the good fats and the nuts, but it's still dessert, so everything in moderation, right? So the secret here is to use room temperature butter because it'll be much easier to cream. If you don't have time to bring your butter to room temperature, you can always just turn your microwave on for a minute, empty, and then put your stick of butter in there and just let it sit there for another minute without turning it on. And that'll help kind of soften the butter and bring it to room temperature really quickly. Or just remember to take out your butter about an hour before you want to make cake. Making sure to cream that butter and that sugar really well, and then one by one you add the eggs into this. And again, you want the eggs again to be at room temperature if you can. If it's not a big deal, but it really does help keep the cake soft and moist and just delicious. So try to remember to take out your butter and eggs about an hour before. The one thing about making this cake is it does take a bit of time. So again, everything in moderation, and good things come to those who wait, right? So here we go. Mixing in those wet ingredients into the dry, and you want to be careful not to over mix here. So I think I stirred this maybe 8 or 9 times, and that was it. Just a gentle fold. Don't want to get too vigorous here. I didn't even use the whisk, just using my hands. Adding in the flavors of rosewater, lemon juice, and some vanilla. Oh, so good. Oh, of course, the zest. And then again, a quick stir just to incorporate that in. And you'll see it's a bit thicker than your regular cake batter because we use semolina flour instead of actual just plain flour. The semolina helps give it a bit of a texture, a little bit more of a bite to the cake, but it's not heavy or dense. It's still light and moist, but I don't know, it's just the semolina gives it a little bit of almost a crunchiness that is just a little bit different. It's quite good. So throw that into the oven. It takes an hour to bake. Trust me, it's worth it. And while that's baking, I whip up a quick glaze, which is just icing sugar, a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of rose water, and a pinch of cardamom. And that's it. And if you don't have cardamom flour, you can always just pulse the pods. Just be careful because the pods can be quite strong, and if they're not ground down fine enough. If you bite into cardamom, oof. If you like that kind of thing, but it needs to be a really fine grind. Now, once the cakes come out of the oven, do the quick toothpick test. Stick a toothpick in the center. Make sure it comes out clean. It might be a little bit greasy, but no crumbs on there, so it looks good. And here we go. So let it cool for about 10 minutes, then let it come off the pan, and moment of truth, we good. All right, this is gonna keep going now. So now you have to be really patient here and make sure it cools completely. Otherwise, your icing will just not sit on top of the cake. It'll just get soaked right in there. It'll taste just fine, but you won't get that nice glazed look to it. So make sure it's nice and cool, and then pour your glaze on top. Just let it kind of spread over the edges and let it drop. I just like the way that looks. So pretty. And then if you want to be a little bit fancy, throw some more pistachios on top. And if you have dried roses, you can throw some dried rose petals on there. Make sure you're using edible roses. You can't just take the ones out of the store because they have a lot of pesticides in them. So just be careful there. Make sure you get edible roses. You could always find them at tea shops or even on Amazon. And that's pretty much it. And here we go, moment of truth. Let's see what it looks like on the inside. Trust me, the flavors in this are just, I don't know, something about the mixture of the lemon, the pistachio, the rose, and the semolina texture. You have to try it. It's so different and so good. Who wants a slice? Looks good, right? And that's about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and come visit me over on Instagram. I'm at Roostory. Thanks. Bye.
Three pieces. Yeah. Okay, cut one more piece there. One more piece. We're down to sixes. Now there's about Chris, maybe Summer. Michelle, JB. Give me one more. Just one more piece and then, at least then, in case if I miss somebody, they have a piece and then that's it then. Yeah, I just told them like I'll bring in some, so I'm just thinking if they bring a few of them and then that's it. My mom and dad. So I'm just gonna write down here, J work, so then I remember. This might give one to my HR person, so there, all six are accounted for, right? But if they fire me on Monday during my review, nobody gets paid. Nobody gets paid, you're gonna save it? Yeah, I'm gonna throw it at them, throw it on the ground. Right? You better not make a fucking mess yet. He gets it with his hand, it's like he's eating with his hand. That's why it's so messy. Tomorrow.